I would like to introduce you to Mr. Richard Corey.
This evening, we have dedicated to our bachelors. But more than that, the two men who left a legacy of joy, humor, and much more. Danny Thomas and Rick Payback. They embodied the challenge we hear in a song we would like to use to dedicate this evening, not only to them, but to our bachelors. I shall look with the sunrise. At a moment in my life, the world is new. And the blessing I shall ask is that God will grant me to be brave and strong and true. And to fill the world with love. My whole life. To fill the world with love. To fill the world with love. And to fill the world with love my whole life through. In the evening of my life, I shall look to the sunset. At a moment in my life, when the night is new, and the question I shall ask, only I can answer. Have I been brave and strong and true? Have I filled the world with love my whole life through? Have I filled the world with love? Have I filled the world with love? Have I filled the world with love my whole life?
Thank you very much, Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, would you now please welcome a local legend, a man whose philanthropic efforts and deeds need no introduction, a person who I've worked with on a few Christmas spectaculars, and whose masterful talents at the microphone are well known. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Frederick Milkey.
Thank you, Norm. If my mother were here, she'd believe every word that you said. I think that this is such a lovely evening. I think that the organizers of this ought to consider this the first annual Bachelor Ball, and they ought to do this again year after year after year. Let's give a hand to the organizers. The young men of our Lebanese community are a key to its future ability to make contributions as a whole to our society. Whether they band together, knowing each other and respecting one another, regardless of their backgrounds, will decide the political and social face of our community. These young men here tonight are the beginning of our hope for a greater tomorrow. These young men have been selected to be with us tonight as representatives of our community. Let me introduce them to you in alphabetical order. I know their parents are very, very proud to see them up here, and I know that all of the eligible young ladies are equally proud to see them up here. So we'll take a moment to introduce them. Mr. Paul Bacos, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Moin Bacos, is an employee of Sealright Waterproofing Company of Santa Ana. His activities include motorcycle riding and camping. And when it comes to basketball or volleyball, he just about clears the court. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Paul Bacos. Mr. Habib Balian, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Alex Balian, is in pre-law at the University of Southern California. His activities include public speaking and business law. Among his hobbies and interests are weightlifting, magic, and the environment. He's a member of Phi Kappa Alpha fraternity, the Judicial Council, president of the Golden Key Honor Society, and the International Committee on the Gulf. In his spare time, he works at none other than Balian Ice Cream. A warm welcome to Mr. Habib Balian. Mr. James Farha, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Charles Farha, is a finance major at the University of Southern California. His activities include public speaking and financial internship. Among his hobbies and interests are archery, marksmanship, skiing, water skiing, jet skiing, and swimming. He also has an interest in DNA studies and the innovation in pharmaceuticals. He's a member of the USC Ski Club and the president of the USC Marksman's Club and many others. He is also very active in his church and other cultural organizations. A warm welcome to Mr. James Farmer. Mr. George Kahwaji, the son of Dr. and Mrs. Michelle Kahwaji, is a student at the University of Southern California. He's on the student committee, student senate, and also on the ethics committee. His hobbies are politics, tennis, and karate. He's a member of the Turf Club, the Student Council Committee, and Phi Kappa Alpha fraternity. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. George Kahwaji. Mr. Joseph Kahwaji, we want to keep it all in the family here. Son of Dr. and Mrs. Michelle Kahwaji, is also a student at the University of Southern California, God help his father. Joseph is majoring in molecular biology and is a pre-med student. His interests are swimming and music. He's a part-time lifeguard. He hopes to make medicine his life career. He's on the Student Senate Public Relations Committee and a member of the National Honor Society. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Joseph Kahwaji. Mr. George Karam is a law student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Karam. He's employed by an international shipping firm and hopes to practice law in California by 1992. His hobby is being a stand-up comic. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. George Maron. Mr. Mark Moawed is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Antoine Moawed, is a student at California State Polytechnic University of Pomona. He's majoring in chemical engineering. He tutors math and science courses. Mark's hobbies include reading, swimming, hiking, cycling, and basketball. And Mark is an honor student. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Mark Moawed. Mr. Chris Redman is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Redman. Chris holds a Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Services. He's a programmer analyst at St. Joseph Hospital in Orange. His activities include physical fitness, water skiing, hiking, camping, and hunting. Chris is a volunteer at St. Joseph Center for Spiritual Development and a member in the Delta Processing Management Association. A warm welcome to Mr. Chris Redman. Mr. George Sadie is the son of Dr. and Mrs. Ely Sadie. He's employed by Capitol Records. He holds a Master in Music and a Master in Business Administration. His activities include composing music, recording, production, video production, and organizing performances of live acts. His hobbies are karate, in which he holds a black belt, guitar playing, cars, copyright law, and recording collecting. He's a member of BMI, the Ferrari Club of America, National Apostolites of Maronites, and many others. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. George Sadie. Mr. Tommy Tedros is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Joe Tedros. Is a senior in college pursuing a business degree. Tommy is also employed by the city of Monterey. His activities include fundraising projects for his church and organizational outings. He belongs to many worthwhile clubs. His hobbies include reading, eating, music, sports watching, and participating in just about every sport. He's the immediate past president of St. Charbel's Club. Please give a warm welcome to Tommy Tedros. Mr. Maron Eunice, son of Mr. and Mrs. John Eunice, is a second-year student at California State College in Fullerton, majoring in biology and pre-med. Maron is an avid sportsman, playing tennis and soccer. He loves music and he writes poetry. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Maron Eunice. Maron Eunice. Thank you. Mr. Michael Williams, the son of the Honorable Judge and Mrs. Ernie Williams, is a pre-law student at the University of Southern California. His activities include membership in the Student Senate and the Judicial Council. His hobbies and interests include Taekwondo, in which he has earned a black belt, and also weightlifting. He's been selected to the University Honor Society and has been president of the Mortarboard Honor Society and serves on the University Ethics Panel. Mike also has a keen interest in Arabic cooking, and wouldn't you know, he also has a keen interest in eating Arabic food. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Mr. Michael Williams. One of the virtues of our bachelors that the Bachelor Ball Committee would like to reward is the ability to compete in the academic world. One way to do this is by awarding a scholarship to academically qualified young men. The scholars were chosen on the basis of two criteria: scholastic achievement and pride in their heritage as demonstrated by their deeds. The group we have here tonight has an average grade point average of 3.8, the lowest among them being a 3.67. Each is a scholar in his own right, and each is an activist, as you have heard when I read their biographies earlier. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Joseph Arroyo, the attorney for the U.S. Air Force Space Systems Division, in charge of labor relations, to stand. Is Joe here someplace? No? Okay. In any event, a nonpartisan judge was Mr. Arroyo. At this time, I'd like to ask the following young men to come forward and accept their scholarship awards. And I would like to ask Mr. Joseph Corey, the president of St. Maron's League, to present the awards. Each scholarship is valued at $500. Mr. Corey. You'll give an award to Mr. Habib Balia. You'll give an award to Mr. Joseph Kahwaji. You'll give an award to Mr. Mark Wahid. And you'll give an award to Mr. Michael Williams. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, and God bless you, and good luck with your future, and good luck with your studies. And now I'd like to ask the members of the selection committee, Mrs. Karen Khalil, Mrs. Katie Mahanna, and Mrs. Shirley Rod, to come to the stage, if you will, please. Young ladies, oh, here they are. Karen, would you please bring me the envelope with the committee's Bachelor of the Year? Thank you. Hold on for 1 minute. I got a little bit. Criteria for the Bachelor of the Year was a list of simple elements. They were observed and interviewed to assess their confidence level, poise, general knowledge, bearing, as well as their knowledge and support of their heritages. And most of all, we wish to select someone the other men in our community could look up to and emulate. Before we announce the winner, let me say that each one of these, when talking to the committee members, and the committee members assure me that each one of these fellows are a winner in their own right, and they're all deserving of the title. It was very, very difficult to select the committees, the honorees, and the committee had a very, very difficult time. Tonight we have co-winners, Mr. George Sadie and Mr. Tommy Tedros. Thank you, gentlemen, for participating this year, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here with us this evening. And now I'd like to introduce to you the general chairman for the event, a man that needs no introduction at all, Mr. Edward Salem.
First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Milkey. Gentlemen, please take your seats. I want to thank every one of you for being here tonight, for being with us, and taking the time from your schedules to participate in the program. It's not often you get to meet 12 fine young men, each one of a different background, each one of a different persuasion, yet joined together in one common thing, and that being their heritage. And it makes me proud to be right here and part of them. Thank you, and God bless you. Once or twice in one's life, one is able to step forward and attempt a project that might begin a tradition. Most of these are limited to family things, like putting up a live Christmas tree or gathering on a certain holiday. I count myself most fortunate to be involved in the beginning of a new tradition among our Lebanese family, the institution of the Bachelor Ball. By all accounts, the affair tonight has been a success. The bachelors, promising young men of our community, you, our guests, enjoying yourselves, honoring these young men, the organizing committee, happy that all are having a good time. And yes, we more than broke even, thanks to you. I would like to thank all of you for being here tonight and supporting the event. Without your financial support and presence, all the work would have been for nothing. I would especially like to thank some people for their hard work. And you know, the program read General Chairman, I'm just a co-chairman, and the men with whom I've served as co-chairman on so many events, I'd like to thank more than you can ever imagine. Not only has he been a friend over the years, not only is he my brother-in-law, but he's one of the finest gentlemen I've ever known in my life, Dr. Elijah Yu. I would also like to thank our pastor, Father Antoine Bach, who was willing to give this new project a try. You know, it's not often that you have a brand new pastor and he says, go get him. Father Bach, Father Tony. It shows in Tommy as a winner. I'd like to thank Tommy Tedros, who coordinated all of the bachelor activities, and to Karen Khalil and Katie Mahanna and Shirley Raj for taking on the responsibility of being judges, and what a responsibility that was. To all of you, thank you also. The souvenir book that you see in front of you was the work of a few hard-working, dedicated people. Amal Alwan, Saad Ahmad, Nina Bajani, Mary Faraj, Katie Mahanna, Jeannie Petro. The ticket sales in the souvenir book were just tremendous. Let's give them a great round of applause. And these are just the chairmen, the leaders, those who came so faithfully and attended all the meetings. And believe me, there were meetings enough that you just can't believe the times we had to get together to make this thing work. To all of you who so faithfully attended, giving us advice, guidance, and most importantly, the moral support we needed to continue. I can't begin to name you all. Thank you and God bless you. Would all the members of the committee please stand? Let's give them a big round of applause. Come on, let's see you all stand. Come on, everybody. Where are you? I'm proud of you. And there's one more group that I must mention, because to me they're probably the most important. This program, believe it or not, has been in the planning for 2 years. And there have been 3 people who've stood beside me through that whole time. I'd like to thank my wife, Samia, and my children, Chris and Nicole. They've put up with Ed being gone most of the time. To all of you, go my heartfelt thanks. To Norm Mamie here, who's been very patient with a novice, and his orchestra. To the Dark Eyes Band, who've done a good job, to Richard Corey, and to one of my idols. You know, I came here 6 years ago to this community, and one of the people I kept hearing about was a guy by the name of Fred Milkey. Well, I met Fred about 3 months after I got here, and he's been my idol ever since. God bless you, Fred. We love you. And now, before we close the formal program, I'd like to take you to another time and another place. To a time when the old generation who came from Lebanon at the turn of the century were with us, and at a place where the few of them that gathered carried Il-Watan in their hearts. They instilled in us the love of the fatherland and the love of their adopted land, and the will to keep this love and pride alive through future generations. If we did not accept the task, then who would? We have, and tonight is part of fulfilling that challenge. There is much that we would say to our young men, to those who are our future. There is much that we would like to impart to them. Some of those sayings you'll find on the gold pages of your souvenir book. But the best of what we can give them is our example of goodness, especially toward one another. We're products of a great legacy, including men like Danny Thomas and Vic Tayback, Khalil Gibran, and many other great folk heroes, as well as the greatness of our mothers, our fathers, our grandfathers. And most of all, we are the products of an ingrained optimism that no matter how bad things get, there is always a brighter side. I am reminded of a song also born of another time. This time was in the 60s, when America was also facing its identity crisis. And I would share it with you tonight. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, yeah, it's a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? But you know, they're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. See them back there? They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, indeed. Good night. God bless you. One and all.
Righteously. That's the way it goes. Say hello. That's the way. Right here.
You're on candid camera. Take care. Oh, you're on candid camera.